Welcome to another edition of the Broad Podcaster. I'm your host, Jennifer Fierro. We're welcoming this guy, legendary sports writer, Llano's #1 voice, Art Dlugach here. We're going to talk a little Highland Lake sports, but first, some personal news. Art, you know this, and I guess I'll announce it here officially. As you know, I've left the Picayune after 16 years. We're going to do this full-time. I'm going to go back to full-time sports writing, created a website called TexasChalkTalk.com, like the chalkboard. When I grew up, we had chalkboards and we were going into whiteboards. Now you see the whiteboards and all the virtual boards now, but we're going to talk Highland Lake sports on TexasChalkTalk.com and right here on the Broad Podcaster, here on YouTube, every chance we get. So the best thing you can do to help me, subscribe, share, and like, and tell all of your friends, especially those of us who love Highland Lake sports the way that Art and I do.
I'll assure you we didn't have any whiteboards when I was there going to high school either. It was all blackboards, as a matter of fact. Now I think they've gone to green in some of them, but going way back, blackboards.
Well, that when I was in elementary school and part of junior high, back when Marble Falls was a junior high and not a middle school, we also had chalkboards. So one thing I don't miss, getting the chalk all over your hands.
I think most kids like that.
Well, at any rate,
anything to get to go to the board and play around with the blackboard and the chalk was fun.
Yeah, well, I can remember one of the big punishments. I don't know if it was in your day, but it was in ours. Even though it was kind of a privilege when some of our more creative students decided to do this, but do you remember having to clean the old erasers?
Sure.
Okay, well, I remember one time there was an upperclassman who was 2 grades ahead of me, and she went to clean the erasers, but she ended up putting her name on the side of one building with the chalkboard erasers. So after school, everybody got to see their own billboard. How do you like that for creativity?
Well, we never did that, I'll assure you. We were too much afraid of both the teacher and the principal.
I hear you. Well, us too. Okay, so that's a bit of personal news for me. Like I said, TexasChalkTalk.com, Texas spelled out, all one word. That's where you'll find a lot of the written stuff for the Highland Lakes. And of course, right here, we'll be doing our own videos as often as we can, trying to really pump this up for those of you who just want to get more sports like me.
And let me tell you that absolutely the Picayune is going to miss you big time. And I know that sports is your first love, so certainly wish you the best covering all the sports, both writing and broadcasting.
Well, I look forward to the challenge, that's for sure. Okay, and thank you for saying that. You know, this was a realignment year. Snapshot numbers were due in October, so that meant that every UIL school and TAP school had to turn in their enrollment numbers. And as we talked about in like I told you before, everybody kept asking me, where's Marble Falls going to land? And I said, well, on the record, the Mustangs are cautiously optimistic that we'll drop to 4A. Off the record, they're very confident that 4A is in the future, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Marble Falls has dropped back down to 4A. They will be joining Burnett and Lampasas in the same district, but we also picked up somebody in your old district. I think Lago Vista got moved up to 4A.
Oh, yes, and you can have them. I'll tell you that.
Well, I was going to say,
very fine sports program there.
Yeah, I know you played them in football. Was that the only district or the only sport you played them in?
No, they're right now going against us in basketball for sure, and basketball's pretty much over. But we will play them in softball and baseball.
Okay, all right. Well, that's exactly like you said goodbye to Lago Vista. That's exactly what I said to New Braunfels Canyon after the Lady Mustangs lost to them the first round of the playoffs a couple of weeks ago. We'll get into that later on in the show. But I told them flat out, because they knew they were on a collision course to play Cedar Park High. Cedar Park undefeated, They've already won more than 20 games with the defending Class 5A state champs. Right now, in my opinion, the state championship is theirs to beat. But again, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, that was the last thing I said to the Canyon fans. Y'all can have Cedar Park. We're happy to be moving back up to 4A. But we are excited. Like I said, for me, being an alum of Marble Falls, to be in the same district with Burnett and Lampasas again, those are two traditional district rivals for the Mustangs and the Lady Mustangs. So it meant a lot to us to be able to get back there. Class 4A Division I in football. And I also know that means that, go ahead.
You may have caught a break in not getting Fredericksburg in your district
because
they've been awfully good in most every sport since I've been here for more than a couple of decades.
Yes, even though Fredericksburg was also a traditional rival of ours in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
So, with that said, Canyon Lake is also in our district. I know y'all are familiar with Canyon Lake and Fisher Canyon Lake. Taylor is in the district. Burnett is very familiar with Taylor. They have been in the same district for several years. The new one is Comel Davenport.
Yes, I've heard of Davenport.
Okay, do you know about where they're located?
No, but I know that some teams that I was interested in played them, and Davenport seemed to be pretty good.
Yeah, they are right into the 281 corridor as you're about to get into San Antonio. Right in that area, a little past Bulverde, right in that niche. They'll be a first-year varsity program in 2022. They've already played a JV schedule the last couple of years, and you know better than anybody how not difficult. They seem to have done pretty well in their JV schedule, and you know because you played Glenn back when they also didn't have anything except 9th and 10th graders, and you told me Glenn's going to be better than you think when they moved up to 5A and they started to put a varsities with.
Well, we played them.
Yeah.
Llano played them as a varsity team, and I knew once they had a junior and seniors, they were going to be better. You've got to improve when you're stuck with playing just freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah. So, and that's where I'm at with Davenport. I think they're going to be better than people think, but we'll see. Obviously, what will help is it is a 6-member district, which means 5 district games. Marble Falls will lose 30 seniors, but they'll have 25 returners for 2022. We will see how that plays out. But I have it on good authority. The Mustangs are going into 22 needing both of the scrimmages and all 5 non-district games in order to get themselves ready for a district run.
Well, that's a long run, 7 games, I would say. For Llano in football, it's a 7-team district, so just 4 non-district games. I'm very happy about that.
Well, tell us about your districts because this is the first time that I'll get to see them and talk to you about them.
Non-football district: Florence, Brady, Blanco, Ingram, Comfort, and Austin Montopolis Idea, a charter school. They played Llano this year in boys basketball, didn't have a girls basketball team, and they obviously struggled a bit. For football, for the Jackets, it's Blanco, Ingram, San Antonio, Cole, Universal City, Marion, and Luling. And so Cole and Universal City are not as good in football, we don't think, as they are in basketball. So we like the districts for sure. And again, 6 district games and 4 non-district for football. And I think that's good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a good schedule for Marble Falls. That's what the Mustangs had the last couple of years. 4 non-district games, 6 district games, but they also had the 2 scrimmages to get ready for the season. I know that Coach Green will have the Jackets in 2 scrimmages in August to prepare for the 2022 season. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not. I don't want to get into too much controversy here. I'm not crazy about 2 scrimmages. I really think that one scrimmage practicing all of August, and then you've got 4 or 5 non-district games. You better be ready for district by then, or to steal a line. You're not trying.
No.
So that's just me. It probably will not change, but I just think that one scrimmage is enough.
Yeah, you and I are going to have to agree to disagree. Marble Falls is losing the majority of their starters on both sides of the ball, and a lot of the starters for the Mustangs were 3-year starters, so including the quarterback and the center. So I feel that the Mustangs are going to need every minute they have to prepare for their district run.
Well,
that may not be the case in Llano, but I think Burnet and Marble Falls will take as many minutes as they possibly can to prepare for district.
No, I am not basing that on what it's good for Llano or Marble Falls. I'm just saying 6 games, usually it's 6, 1 scrimmage, and 5 non-district, I think should be enough.
Sure. Okay. All right. Like I said, we'll just agree to disagree. Let's talk about the non-football district for Marble Falls and Burnet. In District 24, Region 3. This is the only thing that bugged me. I like this district. I don't like the region. Burnet, Georgetown Gateway, Gerald, Lago Vista, as we already talked about earlier, Lampasas and Marble Falls. District 24, what I don't like about it, this is the Houston region. Region 3, we are out of. Marble Falls is out of the San Antonio region. I like the San Antonio region for several reasons. The biggest is because I think it's easier to travel. The Lady Dogs Burnet has been in Region 3 now the last 4 years. Do you know where they played their regional tournament in basketball last weekend? Lufkin ISD. 4.5 hours one way, windshield time.